Hello, my darlings. Today I'm going to be talking about manifesting for neurospicy ADHD folks, which is very exciting. My take on manifesting is a bit different from other manifesting teachers, and I've learnt, it's very interesting watching the manifestation world grow and how many manifestation coaches are out there, and the ones that are kind of just regurgitating the same old things, and like all the Instagram posts that kind of just say the same old things. And some of them are right. Some of them are perpetuate some negative underlying limiting beliefs that they don't actually notice that they're doing. Like a few of them. Okay, I have a whole episode on this, not in the current podcast iteration, but if you're on YouTube, you can find the YouTube video about the limiting beliefs regarding manifesting. But a couple of them, one of them is that you've got to work to get the thing you want to manifest. It's really interesting because there's a thing called thought reversals, and when people have a new idea that goes against the grain, it blows people's minds. It seems like a big insight and it's really interesting and people gravitate towards it. But after time, that becomes the new norm. So people are sharing like, oh, the one missing thing from manifesting is the action step. You've got to take action. But people have become so obsessed with this. That is now the norm. And not only that, but it's not true. There's actually a balance. So it can't be so far as to say, I'm just going to sit on my couch and manifest. But this idea of, but you've got to take the action step, it's driven by the underlying belief that you've got to work to earn the thing you want to manifest. And it doesn't seem like that on the surface because the work that's being done is subconscious work. It's journaling work. It's alignment work. It's keeping yourself high vibe. But it all comes back down to this belief that once I do this, once I change this, once I become this, that's when I will manifest the thing. And that's a massive one for ADHDers and neurodiverse folks because consistency is hard for us. Doing stuff and taking action can be hard. It can feel like there's a big wall in the way. But my method and my suggestion to you need to adopt the original belief of manifesting, which is that what you believe and what you choose to be true comes true, regardless of how you're feeling, regardless of whether you're high vibe, because that's another one of those limiting beliefs. You've got to feel positive, you've got to feel high vibe, and that's when it'll happen. It can happen faster when you're in those high vibe states, but it's so important for us neurospicy folks to believe that it can happen no matter what. It comes back before the high vibe, before the beliefs, before that is the decision, is choosing that it's possible for us, no matter what we believe about it, no matter how we feel about it, no matter what our emotions are. Because the way the universe works is that your reality will be created based on what you choose to believe, and believe as in believing that it's possible, not believing with all your heart, without a doubt, without any negative worries, because we are human. We are going to feel those things. Your emotions will go up and down on the daily. Your beliefs will go up and down on the daily. Sometimes you'll feel really confident and like it's definitely happening, and other times maybe not so much. But if you have this belief, what I call an overarching belief, that no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm thinking, no matter what I'm believing in any given moment, the thing that I truly desire in my heart is what comes true. Because the universe knows what's in our heart. Whether you're talking about the universe or angels and this kind of ethereal being and knowledge, or whether you're talking about quantum physics on a vibrational, energetic level, somewhere inside you is this belief, and the universe can hear it, or quantum physics can feel it. It's going out there into the universe. So if you have any doubts or if your emotions go up and down, choose to believe, actually, I'm going to believe this happens anyway. Because things happen in your life all the time without you having to believe or decide or desire or put it out there or actively manifest it in some way. Good surprises happen to you. Random things happen to you. And you can become more conscious of what you're manifesting and kind of even out those things to a point, or bring in more blessings and reduce a lot of the negativity. Things are still going to happen. The universe is going to bring you lessons. There are like set points in time that you have come into this body on this earth in this time to experience, and they will definitely happen. But around that, you get to create your life. You get to create your daily experience, and you're allowed to feel emotions, and you don't have to earn the things you want to manifest. You don't have to feel positive all the time. You don't have to believe it 100%. You just need to understand how manifestation works and choose to believe that it's possible. Have that little grain, that tiny grain of belief that actually this is possible. Because often what people do in their life is they see their life as it is, and then they believe and get into like this feeling like this is how life is, and you get this attachment to it, and that attachment helps recreate your current reality. So if you can loosen that a little bit and just open yourself up to possibilities, that's where the key to manifesting is. And when I started doing this, my life opened up in so many ways. I was manifesting things like crazy. I was finding money on the ground every day. The things that I desired would come to me in really synchronicitous ways, like instantly, like the next day. Like someone would call me and say, hey, I had a feeling that this was for you. Or I would just stumble across it, or a Facebook post would pop up and it would lead me to the thing. Or I'd think of a book and then I'd find it in a free library, or a friend would give it to me, and it was just bam, 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 bam all the time. And that's a beautiful, amazing place to be in. And it was simply from learning about manifestation and opening myself up, and every day just wondering, like, I wonder what will happen today, because the possibilities are endless. So that's my first little tidbit I want to give you about manifesting, is that you don't need to be high vibe. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to do a whole bunch of subconscious work. Doing that kind of subconscious work is a tool to remove any blockages that are in the way, and it can be beneficial. But the belief that you have to do that first holds you back from it happening now. You can choose for it to happen now, or you can choose that you've got to do the stuff first. But why? Why? If it helps you and you feel like you need to, go ahead. But if you can remove that initial belief that you have to work on your beliefs in order to manifest it, then you don't have to. And people in the manifesting world don't seem to notice this. They don't seem to notice it. And I find that really crazy. They think that you've got to do all these elaborate courses with all this journaling work and subconscious work and all that. Yeah, you can do that when there are beliefs in the way, but when you become a master manifester, you're always coming back to that point of just believing that it's possible. And yeah. A lot of teachers just teach, okay, what's the thing that you want to believe is possible? Do the work to get to that belief. But if you're open to possibilities, you trust in the universe, you can choose to believe it's possible without doing all that work. So I hope that makes sense to you, because that is key. And just play with it. Just ask yourself, what if this happened? And what if it happens soon? Because there's another thing that we do is think things have to happen in a certain time. Like it will take time for it to happen. But you'll notice if you pay attention to your own intentions and manifestations and hear other people's stories as well, you'll notice that people, if they give a time limit to something, it often happens in that time, like specifically on the date that they set, or they said it would take 12 months and it took exactly 12 months. So if it went exactly as they said it would manifest, could it have happened in less time? And our human belief does come into it. If we think, oh, there's no way that I could manifest a brand new car today, then expand the time a little bit. But sometimes we have a manifestation and we have it as for someday and it's not happening and we wonder why, but it's because the feeling is that, oh, I want this sometime in my life. You've got to pull it in closer to you and say, this is happening for me now and it will happen soon. It's going to happen this year. It's going to happen in the next 6 months, 3 months. Or I wonder if my new car is here for me this week. And just get into the feeling and daydream like a child wishing for something and feel what it would feel like. Just play. ADHDers have a fantastic imagination. Not all of us, I'm not going to make you feel bad if you feel like you don't have an amazing imagination. But if you do, that's a beautiful gift. Imagine, play with it, think about it. We often have really deep feelings. Try and feel those positive feelings. What would it feel like? You're just opening yourself up energetically to manifesting it. But, all right, I want to get back to ADHD and manifesting specifically, rather than I'm kind of teaching you how to manifest at the same time. But I have a whole course on that. And it's not a long course. It's not a big course. It's an 8-module bingeable course, because I think you should sit down, have the insights, have the information, and that's what opens you up. I don't believe in these lengthy manifesting courses where there's all this homework and like a million hours of video to watch. And that can be great to be in the vibration of a high vibe community and with a high vibe teacher, but you can fast track it. And that's what I believe in, is having these insights, because that's how I learned and grew so quickly, is through taking in a whole bunch of information really quickly through books, podcasts, courses, and implementing it, seeing it in my own life really quickly. And that's the beauty of ADHD as well, is that we can learn super quickly. So anyway, I don't believe in all that hard work. And the other things I want to say about ADHD and manifesting is that we've got to do it differently. And that's ADHD is probably why I've seen and noticed all these things that could be done differently, because it really helps us notice both the big picture and the details and notice where people are going wrong or could be doing it differently. We're really good at critiquing and seeing when things don't feel right and how they could be done differently. So that's probably why I've noticed it in the first place. But I've noticed that we have to do manifesting differently. The teachers out there, they teach in certain ways and say, this is how you do this is how you do that. And it works for the majority. But then there are people saying, oh, hang on, this isn't quite working for me. What's wrong? And the teacher just says, okay, well, you'll get it at some point. Just like listen to what I'm teaching you. But sometimes we have to find our own way and what works for us. And so you can pick and choose and take what works for you, or you can learn from someone who's similar to you. And which is why I wanted to make this episode, is to put my hand up and say, hey guys, I'm ADHD. And if you're ADHD and wanting to learn to manifest, these things might be different for you. So let me have a little think. We've got the teaching about specific versus non-specific manifesting. You can do what feels right to you, whether it feels good to have specific details about what you want, or if it feels better to be vague about things. And you don't need to be if you want to do the specific thing, you don't need to be super specific, just specific about the details that actually matter to you. If you're manifesting a car and you don't care what color the carpet is, you don't need to try and make decisions about every little thing. And being ADHD, you might not want to do that. You might not want to sit down and focus and make all these decisions, because that's executive functioning. That uses your brain. So you might want to instead look at pictures, look at videos that help you see it externally and bring you the feelings. The difference between specific and non-specific manifestors, it's actually in the human design chart, but you can also just see what works for you as well and what feels best. For specific manifestors, by thinking about the details and looking closely at the details, that's what makes you feel good and get into the feeling of manifesting. Whereas for non-specific manifestors, the feeling is what helps them create the picture. It's kind of the other way around. It feels good to be vague and just be excited about the dream car, the dream house, the job opportunity, whatever it is, and be open to being surprised, whereas being specific for them might feel kind of restrictive. And I do believe that it can be different for different manifestations. You don't need to restrict yourself in any way here. It's all about coming back to that, choosing to believe it's possible for you and feeling like it's possible. And if you want to speed things up, the beliefs and the emotions are what speeds it up. But I also encourage you to kind of try both, because turns out in human design, I'm a specific manifester. And when I've manifested things really quickly, it's because I've known exactly the house, exactly the model of blender, exactly the car. And those things have happened for me really easily. Whereas sometimes I don't want to be specific, but then the things kind of don't necessarily happen because I'm just saying, oh, universe, just send me something, just give me something. But if you're in a restaurant and you say, hey, I just want something, they'll just bring you anything. It's like if you say to the universe, I want more money, and the universe gives you $1. They're like, oh, good job done. So sometimes you do have to be a little bit specific, or like at least say, like, I want a job opportunity that is in this location with this. Well, that's getting specific, isn't it? But if you say I want a job opportunity, you might see a flyer on a pinboard for a dog walker or something, and that would be the universe's job done. So be a little bit specific, but at the same time, do what works for you. Hang on, what was I going to say? I lost the other train of thought. Oh yes, a lot of manifesting rituals. I don't know how other ADHDers feel, like all the ADHDers. I've obviously spoken to some of them, but we can get bored of things that are repetitive. So novelty can be really helpful. So trying different rituals can be really exciting, but some of them just won't work for ADHD. It's like doing like the 3x3 method, excuse my hiccups, where you basically script out the same sentence over and over again. That did not work for me. Remember that every single tool is just a tool to get you to the belief and the feeling. So if it feels like work, if it's just arduous and it's feeling bad, that's not going to help. So don't do empty rituals just because you think it's the thing you need to do. And again, it comes back to that belief of saying, oh, I can have my manifestation when I do all these things. It's not true. So do whatever works for you to get to that feeling. It's same with self-care. They say, oh, self-care will help you feel abundant. And I don't love having baths, for example. It's just not my thing, because of the way the ADHD brain works, and we don't get dopamine from all the things. Like dopamine doesn't respond in the same way. It responds to the novelty, challenge, urgency, interest, and passion. For me, getting things to make me feel abundant, like lighting candles or having bath bombs, sometimes those things work, but sometimes I get bored of them. It can help to be mindful and light a candle and say, okay, I'm being mindful. But again, sometimes our brain is just not interested in those small little things. So if you're not into all these little manifesting rituals, or if you get bored of them, or if they don't work for you, don't stress about it, because that's not what manifesting is. This is like it's like the charade. It's like the big, I don't know. It's like a big song and dance about something that at its core is not about all the flashy stuff. It's important to know what the actual core is. It's like a seed that you're going to plant, but here they are parading this seed around, or I don't know what another good metaphor is. It's like, maybe it's like they're trying to find the seed through all these actions. They're looking for the seed, and it's right there all along. So it can help you. It can help and feel good to do a ritual in the planting. You can look at this seed, you can analyze it, you can think, how am I going to plant this? How is it going to grow really well? What's going to stop it from growing poorly? And that would be like your limiting beliefs. You can clear all that out first, or you can just plant the seed and trust that it will grow. That's kind of the difference between those things. And again, if you like the rituals, you can do it. But I just want you to understand, manifesting happens through a decision that the thing you desire is happening for you no matter what. And sometimes life doesn't go that way because you're on a timeline where you're learning lessons as well. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it happens really quickly. So if you can have that belief that it can happen for you, if you can release the attachment to your everyday life and just start to play with the idea of, well, what if it was differently? What if it happened for me? Then your life can really open up. And I believe this is where people live these really amazing lives, or lives that just seem to expand and grow all the time because they're open to it. It's not that they're not grounded, but they're not attached. They're not anchored into this current reality, and they're not planning their future life based on where they are now. That's another big mistake, is thinking, oh, well, because this is where I am, in 6 months, logically I could be here. But in 6 months, you could be anywhere. Your life could completely change. So just start opening up to the idea of any problems you have could be fixed. Anything you want to grow and evolve into could be happening by then. Anything you want to change, anything you want to manifest, anything you desire can happen so quickly. And it really comes from playing with the idea that that can happen now, no matter what. No matter your feelings, thoughts, limiting beliefs, the rituals you do or don't do, how you feel on a daily level, whether you're high vibe or low vibe, or having a low energy, low dopamine day, because those happen. When I was really in my zone of manifesting, things were happening so quickly. And it's because I was in a place where I wasn't happy with a lot of things, and that's why I was manifesting so many things so quickly, is because I upgraded like every single home where I had. And there were things that other people would say, oh, it's not possible for me, so I'm not even going to imagine. Things like, I definitely did not have enough money for organic woolen mattresses. I did not. Those things are expensive, but I decided I wanted them. And then I found some secondhand, and they were brand new. They'd slept on them, they hadn't liked them, but they had 2 of them for like half the price of one of them, and they were happy to deliver them straight to my house, and I could afford that. And then suddenly here I was, and I had all this secondhand furniture, I had a car that was falling apart, I was budgeting heavily for every single item of food that we had, but I manifested these organic mattresses. There were things I desired that came to me for free. I was gifted things. Money came in the mail. I got discounts on things. There was a few times that things were refunded to me, and I was annoyed until I was like, okay, well, that's refunded, so I better buy it from somewhere else. And I would find it for like half the price somewhere else, and it was no skin off my back. But that other opportunity hadn't been there before, so I found the sale, found the discount, and yeah, things can come to you in ways that you can't even imagine. So don't think about the how, just think about the possibility. I'll tell you 2 more stories. One of them is I decided I wanted to manifest some money, and I couldn't quite get the belief right. I wanted to find a note on the ground, but when I thought $50, I was like, I don't know if it could be $50. Obviously it could be anything, but I wasn't feeling into it. Then I thought, well, maybe 10, maybe 20. I don't know. And I couldn't decide. So I decided I don't need to be ultra specific. I want to find a note on the ground. And in Australia, our smallest note is $5. And I was going out that day into the city, and when I was finished my shopping or whatever I was doing, I was on my way back to the car park, and I remembered, I decided I was going to find a note on the ground today. It must be here somewhere. I just had this knowing, again, because of the beliefs and understanding I was having about the universe and quantum physics and how the world works, and starting to see this evidence in my life. I just decided it was happening. It was nothing to do with how I was thinking or feeling. It was happening. And because I'd made that decision, it was like obvious to me, like, oh, it must be here somewhere. And I kept walking a few meters, and then the crowd parted, and there was my $10 note just on the ground, Nobody's noticing it. Everyone's hustling and bustling around. And I just casually walked and picked it up. Like, oh, obviously this is mine. I'm about to leave the city and I said I would manifest this today. And I did. And that was just like, that was a great experience. It was a really great experience. And what was the other one I wanted to share with you? I'm going to pause it so I can think for a second. Okay. My other one was car parks. I am a legend at manifesting the perfect parking space every single time because I don't like to park. I like things to be convenient and things to be easy and life to flow and to use my time efficiently. So it just seems obvious to me that I'm always going to get my park. Also, I grew up with my mum always manifesting the perfect car park. So it's kind of that helped ingrain that belief as well. So one day I was going to get my car park at the shopping centre and I felt grumpy and agitated and irritable and I was not in the best mood. And as I was driving towards the car park, I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to manifest my parking space because I'm not in a good mood. I'm not feeling high vibe. And then I caught myself and I thought, hang on, that's just a belief. That's just a belief from the manifesting community and I don't need to buy into that belief. I wonder what would happen if I keep my current mood, because this is how I'm feeling. Maybe I was PMSing or something. But I want that park anyway. It's mine. I want to park there. So I'm going to park there. I'm going to manifest it because I choose to, because I decide, because I believe it's going to happen no matter what. And sure enough, I drove up right to the first park just in front of the shop entrance. And just as I was driving up, the car ahead of me pulled out of that spot and I pulled in. And that's happened to me so many times. The only time I haven't manifested my parking spot was when I was going to the city on a Sunday and I didn't usually go to the city on that day. And I was going to a workshop and I didn't know how busy it would be. I didn't know how long it would take me to get there. And I thought, what if it's busy? What if I don't have enough time? And the car park was so busy and I was like trawling slowly behind these cars and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. It's so busy. I'm not going to get a park anytime soon. And I stopped and I thought, hang on, I'm getting into this agitated feeling of I'm not going to get the parking space soon. I need to start believing that I'm going to get it any moment. And sometimes when I'm not believing it, when I'm not feeling it, you can't just jump straight to that, oh, I choose to believe, because I'd created a snowball of not believing. So I had to unravel it a bit, like every moment, like, okay, well, maybe there's a car park for me soon. Maybe I'm getting closer to it, and kind of come back inch by inch to this feeling of, okay, even though this is happening, I'm going to choose to believe that it can happen at any moment. And as I pulled back my feelings about it, I manifested my parking space like a minute after that. But it was interesting that I'd created the belief that I wouldn't manifest it. People are funny because they think that they're not manifesting the thing they want. But if you actually look, the problem is we can't look at our thoughts and feelings and can't see them tangibly. But if you actually notice, often there's something and you're not actually believing it. You're not actually feeling it. Or there's something like when I wanted to manifest a house in the bush, I really wanted to, but I kind of didn't want to because I thought it would be too far away or I thought there'd be snakes. And there's a lot of like little beliefs that meant that my subconscious actually didn't want to live in the bush. My conscious mind did, but did I really? And I didn't notice that for a long time, for like a couple of years after I moved into my house that was not in the bush, but had absolutely everything else that I wanted to manifest. So anyway, that's a lot of little tidbits for you. My main point of this is to show you that manifesting is not a big complicated thing, and to tell you that if you need to do manifesting differently than other teachers are teaching, then do. Manifesting is not about all this stuff. There's so much fluff around it. Even the teachers who say, oh, I don't teach fluff, they're teaching fluff. All you need to know is about the physics of it, the metaphysics, the quantum physics, the absolute core of deciding it's going to happen, and all the other stuff is just stuff to kind of help get you there quicker. But the problem is that then the focus becomes on all that stuff. And without the core, you're not going to get there quicker. You still need the engine of the car. You can't just focus on making it look fancy on the outside. So I hope that's helped you. And if you've been interested in what I've had to say, you can go to my YouTube channel and check out other videos on manifesting. And you can probably find my old podcast, Manifest with Marli, somewhere too, and that will have more manifesting stories. Yeah. I need to set up a way for you guys to contact me, because I'd love to hear like your questions about this and how you think manifesting is different for ADHDers. Maybe you could share this on Instagram and tag me in a story, or you can leave a review and just chat to me in the review and give me some feedback, because ADHDers and neurospicy people deserve to manifest too. And it should be easy. Manifesting should be easy and fun for everyone. It's meant to be fun, and it's become so serious for a lot of people. Like, let's learn how to manifest. It's just about making a different choice and opening up. What's possible? Anything is possible. Anything is possible, and it's possible for you. You never know what's around the corner. This is another thing. Some people live in this feeling of like, waiting for the other shoe to drop, like something bad could happen at any time. You've got to realize that something good could happen at any time. Your problems that you've lived with for a long time, that have been challenges that you've gotten used to, they could end tomorrow. Like when I was trying to manifest my kids going to sleep easier at bedtime, I was so entrenched in them being difficult at bedtime and it being a struggle that I knew I had to let go of that attachment to open up and manifest. Like, well, maybe it could be easier. Maybe it could be different. I believe it's the same with chronic illness. When something first happens, you have a hope that it'll go away. And then if it hangs around, you start believing, well, this is my reality now. You need to let go of that attachment. Let go of the attachment to your current situation, because at any moment, a miracle could happen. A miracle could happen. It doesn't need to be like a God sends something suddenly from the sky, but you never know who you might meet. You never know what opportunity might fall into your lap. You never know what might align for you. You never know what piece of information you might stumble across tomorrow. You never know what scientific breakthrough will happen. Beautiful things happen all the time. So believe that they can happen to you too. Quickly and easily. Any moment. Wake up tomorrow, and for the rest of your day, open yourself up to what if. What if all my dreams come true today? What if life goes my way? What if life goes smoothly and easily? What would I choose in this moment if I had a magic wand, or if I was the creator of the world, the universe and everything, and I could just snap my fingers and this thing would happen as I wanted it to happen? What would it look like? What would that feel like? So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you manifest something really cool really soon, and then more and more and more blessings come your way, and ultimately that you live a really beautiful life. But I think I go a bit too deep in podcasts. Do you think that's too deep to end podcasts with? Like, I hope for you a wonderful life. That's so true. That is what I hope for you. And I hope this podcast gets you one step closer to that beautiful life with manifesting that awesome life. Okay, darling, I will see you in the next episode. Bye.